welcome to the Narrowing Path, Walking the Spiritual Walk. My name is Steve Van Eiderstein, and thank you for joining me for January 31st's reading from James Allen Daily Meditation. And I'm really looking forward to how January finishes up here today. Yesterday's was great, really enjoyed it. The last 2 days have been really just fantastic, and kind of talking about just doing that work, and what we're actually trying to do in our lives, what we're bringing into our lives. And I've really enjoyed it, so I'm excited to see what this last reading is for January, because I'm not sure if this is themed or anything like that, if we're just going to roll right into February, but we're going to take a look and we're going to see what happens. Okay, so here we go. This is going to be fresh to you, fresh to me, so you'll get my genuine responses, reactions, observations, and what I relate to about the reading, and just really looking forward to it. So here we go. This is January 31st of James Allen's Daily Meditations. If you are praying daily for wisdom, for peace, for loftier purity, and a fuller realization of truth, and that for which you pray is still far from you, it means you are praying for one thing, whilst living out in thought and act another. If you will cease from such waywardness, taking your mind off those things, the selfish clinging to which debars you from the possession of the stainless realities for which you pray, if you will no longer ask God to grant you that which you do not deserve, or to bestow upon you the love and compassion which you refuse to bestow upon others, you will commence to think and act in the spirit of truth. You will day by day be growing into those realities, so that ultimately you will become one with them. Enter the path of meditation, and let the supreme object of your meditation be truth. Well, that's a hard-hitting reality right there, isn't it? I think a lot of people get caught up in this. They'll ask for specific things. They'll ask for kindness and prosperity, joy, or whatever it is. Any truth or any principle or anything like that. But they're not living congruently. They're not living with integrity. And I don't mean people should be perfect. But what I've found repeatedly, and I feel like it's a principle, it's a law of the spiritual world. If I want to feel loved, if I want to feel forgiven, if I want to feel kindness, I have to practice them first. Meaning I have to think that way. I have to act that way. I need to be forgiving to feel forgiven. When it's going out of me, it can actually come into me. From God, whatever that is defined by for you. Nature, source, power of the universe, could be the Christian God, could be Allah, could be whatever it is. For you to receive from this world, you have to give. If you're running and being resentful and angry, hateful, self-pitying, all wrapped up in you, but asking for this forgiveness, you will not receive it. The thing about walking a spiritual life, walking the spiritual walk, as I say, but this thing's titled, and living a spiritual life, is you do it first. You start doing it. And then you take faith that it is going to work. For me, when I started doing it, I didn't believe it would work for me, but other people believed it would work for me. Just like I'm telling anyone listening to this, I believe it will work for you if you let it. And that was good enough for me to give it an honest try. So I started being honest. I started having hope, having faith that things could get better. Having hope it could get better, and then having the faith that it would. I started being able to forgive people. And I found forgiveness of myself. I started being able to love people genuinely, not for what they could give me, but for who they were. And I started to feel loved myself. These are things that are found within us to give. I have love, I have forgiveness, I have kindness, I have integrity, courage, hope, faith, strength, power, all of these things. I have them to give to others. And when I can give to others, I realize they're within me. And I get filled up with them. And that's relief and a joy I never knew was possible. So what he's talking about here, if you are daily praying for wisdom, for peace, for loftier purity, and a fuller realization of truth, and that for which you pray for is still far away from you, it means that you are praying for one thing whilst living out in thought and act another. That's a huge thing to understand, and I agree with it fully. If you cease from such waywardness, if you stopped acting contrary to what you're hoping for, what you're praying for, taking your mind off of those things, the selfish clinging to which debars you from the possession of the stainless realities for which you pray. If you're praying for peace, but you hold resentment, you can't. You have to be willing to let the thing go that's standing in the way of that. If you will no longer ask God to grant you that which you do not deserve, or to bestow upon you that love and compassion which you will refuse to bestow upon others, but will commence to think and act in the spirit of truth, you will day by day be growing into those realities, so that ultimately you become one with them. Enter the path of meditation and let the supreme object of your meditation be truth. So go after spiritual truth, pursue spiritual laws. Practice these principles. Practice these things in your life on a daily basis. But you have to practice them, right? And be willing to practice them when opportunities arise. Again, there's no perfect human being. There's no person without mistake. But being willing to correct those mistakes is where the difference lies. We're not saying to be superhuman. We strive, I believe it's important to say we strive to be Christ-like, is what a lot of people call it, but God-like, Christ-like. We strive to be able to be honest and be able to be compassionate and wise, and to be able to keep these things at the forefront of our mind. But we are human. We are still who we are. But the willingness and the effort placed to improve is where the growth and the success of living comes from. At least for me, that's what I rest in. I look at the growth I've had and be willing to take the steps needed to continue it, rather than beat myself up because I made that mistake. And that's an important thing to recognize, because that's self-pity as well, and that's just me thinking about me. And, growing and moving through things is very important. So I can't agree more with today's reading. It's just a fantastic way to end this month. January is always the first month of the year, that time that people are looking to change or new ideas, new concepts. Like I started out this month saying that, and these are great readings to be meditating on, to be thinking about, to have at the forefront of your mind as we've progressed through January. And I'm really excited to see what February has to offer us, and if it's going to just keep going with the flow, or if it's going to take a turn and take a directional switch. So I'm real excited about it. And thank you everybody that's been joining me on a daily basis to come along and just grow with me in this journey. Listen as I grow. However you're taking part, and hopefully you're getting something out of it. I've been really enjoying doing it. So thank you again. And we'll pick up tomorrow with February 1st. And we'll go from there. So until next time, thanks.